to Manga Was Appalled. I am so excited for the show. I am Corbett, and I'm really not appalled. Today, I am very much not appalled. Mike, how about you?
I kill your mother. Which is kind of appalling, depending on, how close you are with your mother, so.
That's right, we're talking about Samantha, or Psamathe, for those who
Everybody's
follow Greek mythology.
favorite floating half-elf, half-naiad sex doll head.
Like we don't all have one.
At least one. From the moment she was introduced, I'm like, this is an awesome, funny character. I like this.
I didn't realize she was going to be an actual character until the next book.
Well, yeah, until she started just hanging around with people. Just like, oh, okay, she's part of the team now. This is pretty cool.
And also in the very next book, she evolved like crazy.
Oh yeah, power-wise, she's no longer just awkwardly rolling her head anymore.
Well, she was basically a soccer ball that could be thrown for miles. That was her whole job in the fourth book.
Yeah, Carl had that thing on his hand.
Yeah.
I'm blanking on the name of it, but the little thing.
The Chistera.
Chistera, that's it. I want to say canasta. No, like, what is that?
It's the florin, Mike.
It's the florin. Sling that off and throw the head at whatever. Get a report or an attack or whatever. But because she's an invulnerable head.
But she is.
Yeah, because she gets burned almost to a crisp, but then, next chapter, she's fine now. What?
Throw her in the dishwasher, she'll be okay.
I know, you only put the sex doll heads on the upper rack, or you'll get melting.
I'm glad you have priorities.
Exactly.
That's very, very important. Oh, I should probably mention, for those who don't know, we're talking about a book called Dungeon Crawler Carl, a series of books, actually. And if you haven't read them, what are you doing here?
Then this opening must be even weirder to you.
I thought this was a sex doll head commentary.
Yeah, yeah. Talk about the capabilities of sex doll heads. It's a thing.
Samantha, or Psamathe. Now, I should point this out because I don't think you know this, Mike, but the name is Psamathe, Psamathe.
Oh, no, I thought it was...
It's a part of a Greek myth, I think, that they're stealing it from, but it's also one of the moons of Neptune, for those of you who love astrology. Or astronomy? One of those
astronomy
star thingies.
Astrology, you're still thinking fantasy wargaming.
Yeah, probably so.
Yep.
But she was originally a sex doll, but she wasn't a Psamathe sex doll head. She was I want to say, hold on, let me look it up real quick.
Oh, that mythological.
Yeah, she was pretending to be another goddess.
Yeah.
Sorry, I have to look this one up because I really don't remember.
I don't either.
It's like Zaeth or Zath or Zamath, Zingo, Bobby.
Mousc.
I know. This is the importance of researching before you just start yakking away. Yarlo? He summoned Psamathe, who pretended to be Yarlo.
Right.
But that wasn't the name of the god that the doll, because the doll was of another god. I think it's so confusing.
Mythological heroine of some kind or something, an adventurous.
Yeah.
But anyway.
So she was pretending to be somebody who pretended to be somebody else to convince a wizard to marry her daughter, who's a pile of dirt.
Who's basically a sand ooze.
Basically. Just like any story you've ever heard.
It's an oft-told tale. Man falls in love with sex doll manipulates man to marry her daughter, who is a sand ooze, then use the married couple to try to get her body back. We've all heard it before, over and over again.
Now, if I remember right, and I could be wrong about this, it might be the fifth book when Carl gets his back patch, but I think it was the fourth book when he got his back patch.
The Scavenger's Daughter?
Scavenger's Daughter. We don't really realize until the end of the seventh book. Spoilers, by the way, again, with the whole reading the books thing. Just look into them.
We presume everyone has already read the books.
If you haven't, just enjoy it, because you're going to enjoy it anyway.
Yeah.
I can tell you right now, knowing all this would not make me not like the books.
I've read it repeatedly, and it's like, I know what's going to happen, but it's okay.
Because you have a psychological condition,
so much fun.
It is fun.
Yeah.
So much fun. Actually, I think back to the fourth book. I think the fight with the goose was the most ridiculous one. But still funny to go through.
Yeah.
And scary.
The boss monster was the goose.
It's the lemonade. That's the secret. Oh, you bastards.
It's Instead, they just stuck the goose head in the garbage disposal and ran it.
That's a spoiler. Anyway, Scavenger's Daughters, or the patch on the back of Carl's vest is the Scavenger's Daughter, which gives him special powers every so often. And when a god appears, he gets certain powers.
He
all
starts
kinds of fun
gathering
stuff.
energy, which implies that the Scavenger's Daughter seems to be, if not an antithesis of gods, definitely has some
Reaper-like qualities, you might say?
Yeah. So
Funny you should say, Mike, because I have an idea.
uh-oh. Let's hear it.
This actually ties back in with our last show about Juicebox. Because if you remember this, and we didn't mention this in the show, but that's been weeks ago, so forget it.
What was Florin's name again?
No. Crocodile Guy?
Crocodile
Wasn't that
Guy,
his name?
yeah. Australian, African, Latin American crocodile.
If you
guy.
remember right, in the meeting with all the other warlords, Juicebox loses it and turns into the Unwashed. But you know what it is. For those who haven't read, let me spoil this for you. It's a terrible monster that scares the living hell out of everybody who sees it to the core, like you're genetically knowing it's bad.
Sort of a elder god-y type thing.
Now, here's some basic rules to know about Juicebox. She is a doppelganger, and they can therefore become whatever. Or no, she's a mimic, isn't she? No, she's a doppelganger. Changeling, thank you.
Yeah.
She's a changeling and can turn into anything
if
that she's touched.
So that begs the question.
Right. Now the question is, well, she must have touched something in the nothing, or sorry, I should also point out, the Unwashed is also the parable that goes back to Crack Karen. So if you've even read the first book, you know what Crack Karen is. But it's the galactic drug lord for the cosmos.
Also ostensibly supposed to be a mocking of the apothecary.
Apothecary.
Yeah, the apothecary faction. I don't know.
Work it out, Mike. You can do it. That's what you do when you drink liquor first thing in the morning.
I don't have a problem. They will not break me because I am numb. Anyway.
But she has not specifically gone into the nothing yet until the end of the 7th floor. So she couldn't have touched the nothing or the Krakaren or
I have
the Unwashed.
Possible.
No, I'm getting there.
Okay.
I'm leading it.
All right.
Because let's go back to Samantha. We don't know what she is because specifically Juicebox says, I know who and what you are. I can help you. We know that Juicebox can see somebody to their core being. And we also know that Samantha is nuts. I mean, to put it nicely,
really?
She's absolutely nuts. So I have a theory that she's actually the Unwashed inside the head. Now, granted, she's a mannequin sex doll head.
I hope that's not the case.
Why not?
Because she's fun. And these Unwashed seem to be malicious, murdery monsters, a la H.P. Lovecraft.
It's a malicious, unwashed, murdery monster.
Well, that makes it perfectly acceptable.
It's not a bunch of them. It's just one. But she's obviously a goddess of death in some way, I think.
Unless she is the scavenger.
Yeah, well, that's where it gets tricky.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, go with your theory.
Juicebox, and we hate to jump back to Juicebox again, but can turn into anything she's touched.
Absolutely.
But after being made aware of what she is, she remembers her prior lives in prior games.
Okay.
So what if she touched an Unwash in a prior incarnation? And because she couldn't remember beforehand, she couldn't have done it. But now that she was made aware of being an NPC and opening up her prior memories, does that give her more things to turn into?
Possibly. I don't discount that only because in the game they say that they made it a rule. They're not allowed to make this character because it's so scary. But they didn't say when they made that a rule.
Right.
And she's been through it several cycles. In fact, more so, they said, I think in one of the things they said that she's been recycled more times than any NPC should be allowed to be recycled, which I didn't know there was a limit.
Me neither.
Well, I know that the train conductor and Firebrandy both realized their past lives, at least a little bit, before they kind of ended it.
But Psamathe, she's a lot of fun. I don't know how I feel about her actually getting a body.
I thought it was really nice that Carl said she was brave for giving up the body that he had.
Right, and that was
to save Louis.
And that's pretty cool. On the other hand, if she ever does get her body, in a way, her completion is over. it would be tough not to become less interesting as a character once that's
Mm,
complete. I guess depending on what the body is actually.
well, she could get thrown into some other weird construct just so she'd be able to move around and do stuff. I could see that.
Yeah.
Or get like a robotic body attached to her head, kind of like Jamal.
Yeah, Jamal. And yeah, I know you mentioned earlier about Jamal and the muscle thing, and I was like, yeah, but it's funnier this way.
Oh no, it's way funnier. I just somebody in one of the forums like keep everybody up with the other things you're supposed to read besides the books.
Yes, a lot of forums. If this is the only show you know of about Dungeon Crawler Carl, glad to have you here, but look around, there's more of them, especially YouTube stuff.
No, but no, somebody had mentioned that in the swirl of tattoos when Signet dies, well, allegedly dies. We don't know for sure.
Seems to die.
I'll give Mike his hope that he'll have his beloved
She
Signet back one
appears to
day.
die.
But when she does, she releases all the tattoos. There is a hammerhead shark that's one of the tattoos that fights in book 2 when they free the circus.
Hmm.
And it's a hammerhead shark then. So I'm not denying that it's not a hammerhead shark. It's just that in the 5th book, they say it's a hammerhead shark with a muscular humanoid body. And then, of course, all the tattoos disappear when they get sucked down to the 9th floor.
Maybe something involved in them ceasing to be tattoos and being actual people.
Possibly.
Made him
But
go,
see, they also were all down on the 9th floor the whole time that Carl was going through everything else.
yeah,
Anything could have happened to Jamal, and he could have been converted to a full shark
could
or
be.
something like that, or cursed to be, or who knows what. And honestly, Jamal's hilarious. That's fine.
Yeah. So,
There's nobody upset.
do you think Samath's daughter is still alive?
Oh, she's absolutely still alive because the war mages needed her. Why? I don't know. That is a big
Again,
one.
Scavenger's daughter.
Hmm.
Is it something similar to whatever Carl's getting from that patch?
Or what was the Miss Ghazi? Is that her name? I think that was her name. I noticed everybody in the forum calls her Miss Ghazi. Ghazi was the name of the wizard from the 4th book who was
Okay.
married to her. That's why they keep calling her that. Like, why do they call her that? I didn't know she had a name. It was just Samantha's daughter.
Well, I guess that's easier to type than Samantha's daughter.
The artist formerly known as Samantha's daughter.
The sand pile. Although it would be funny if they run into her again and she's no longer the Sandu. She's now in this incredibly wonderful body or something, and Samath just loses it because she's still stuck as a head. We've learned Samath has issues with her own mother.
Yeah.
While she realizes she treated her daughter badly finally, and one wonders if this is kind of the path Samath is on to become more of a balanced, objective person rather than just a selfish godling that, let's face it, most of the gods are assholes. Even before the rich jerks get in control of them, that she'll come out more balanced and hopefully a powerful ally for the crawlers because they accepted her and let her steal their whiskey and occasionally sexually, harass them.
Extremely. I guess at that point she kind of becomes the stripper mom turned good mom kind
Yeah,
of feeling.
but is still kind of a stripper.
A little bit.
A little bit.
little trashy on the side. I hope she stays that way.
Oh
That's the
yeah,
one
I
thing
don't want her to become like Miss Pure Light or something.
Mhm.
No, that's far less interesting.
But you know what? They are heading into the celestial ascensions. They're going to run into more gods, and that's a guarantee considering like practically every book they run into a god or a demon or both at
Yeah.
the same time. And those gods are going to start having the ability to go, hey, Samath, if you betray Carl, give you that body you're wanting.
Mm-hmm.
And that's going to be tempting for her. And
Oh,
honestly,
sure.
I hate to say this, Samantha has a problem with impulse control.
Indeed, she does. But it'll be interesting to see if that's the case. On the other hand, most of the gods are assholes, so they're gonna,
What? No.
yeah, they'll lie to her or manipulate, and she's bound to know they will.
Yeah.
She can't trust any of them. In her mind, she can't even trust her own mother.
I actually kind of like Empress a little bit. I know he's kind of an a-hole, but
But he's insane, so
a little bit. But the thing is, I think it's funny when she goes back, your god's a little bitch.
First he asked me some questions, and then he talked
Now
about his
he's
son.
crying.
Now he's crying everywhere. Hate to say it, Kyle, but your god is a little bitch.
She is not flattering to any of the gods, so I think that's fair.
No. She's and being virtually indestructible, she can do that.
But she was hanging out with the Bedlam Bride for quite a while there,
Oh yeah.
with
What's her
the
name?
promise that she would get her body.
Yeah.
There's that.
Yeah, and she was naive enough to fall very quickly into the meme. That's what she called her, meme. Oh, don't cry, meme. We'll get it fixed.
Both Carl and Donut are like, step away from her, Samantha.
Oh no, my friend
fine,
Meme,
you're
she's
good."
fine. She's a little self-conscious because she's a giant, the whole giant spider thing.
Uh-huh.
Tell her she's attractive, Carl. Build up her self-esteem.
Well, you want to be thoughtful.
Yeah. She and Donut easily have the best one-liners
Very
in the
true.
series. Even Carl doesn't come up with as good lines as the two of them do.
Well, Carl's the straight man.
Yes.
He's the guy who's there to take the punch from everybody else.
Yes, and be clueless when obviously several females are obviously eyeing him up, and he's just a clueless dude. But now I'm worried about Biggs asking for relationship advice from Psamathe in the last book, the Sluggette.
That's true. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, I heard that they're discussing how to get a guy, and she's got a thing for that judge or adjudicator, the one that's sort of like a Pertion.
Yeah.
The deer head with with everything, and it's just like, yeah, okay, that's just creepy.
I am not a prostitute.
Yeah, we'll see about that. 10 gold pieces if you lick my tail. 12 if you go against the grain. Which I have no idea what that means, and I don't want to know. I really don't.
Nobody wants to know.
I really don't.
Oh, dear. Anyway, so it's that time in the show again when we must remember that we all have our limitations.
And they will not break us unless they tell me what against the grain means. And that will probably break. Probably.
That came out sounding way more racist than I intended.